1, 2, 3, go green! As the young Michigan State hockey team continues to grow under first-year head coach Danton Cole, the Spartans gained valuable experience during a brutal stretch of 4 games in 6 days before resuming Big Ten play.
I started playing hockey when I was about 3 years old, started skating. My parents got me on the ice when I was real young. Probably didn't start playing like on an actual team, organized hockey, about a year later. And I was playing all different kinds of positions, forward, defense, and I always wanted to play goalie. So I was always the one asking the coach if I could play goalie. Finally he let me, and then I kind of stuck with it. My dad played when he was a kid growing up, and then my brother, I have an older brother too, that he played, so I would always watch them play growing up. So obviously, you know, I was a big hockey family, so I was kind of, you know, carried into that. My dad actually, he was my coach growing up when I was real young in Mini-Mites, and he kind of put together a spring team one year where I could just play goalie every single game and to see if I like it, and sure enough I loved it, so stuck with it after then. My dad, a huge part of the person I am today. He instilled a great work ethic in me at a young age, and he was a big part of where I am today. Both my parents are the sacrifices that they have made for me to, you know, pursue my dreams, and they're a huge part of why I'm here today. As a kid, you would try and watch all the different goalies, try and take little bits and pieces from each one and kind of implement them into your game. But the one guy that I really watched growing up was Curtis Joseph. He was my favorite goalie growing up, and you know, I really idolized him when he was in Toronto, and then he came over to Detroit for a couple years, and you know, that was really cool for me to get to see him play for my favorite team, the Detroit Red Wings. So I always watched him throughout his career. But now I don't really have a favorite one. Now you kind of just watch all the goalies and take little bits and pieces from them. I grew up a really big Michigan State fan. My aunt probably had the biggest influence on me when I was a kid. She went here and graduated from here, so she was always telling me, you know, one day you'll be the goalie for Michigan State, and I was just like, oh yeah, whatever. In high school, I was at a couple Michigan State matchups, so to be able to see that rivalry and kind of the atmosphere here at Mon, it was pretty cool to see at a younger age. And then seeing games on TV too, seeing the All-Access shows, the kind of treatment and attention that they get, you know, it was pretty cool to see as a young hockey player, and something, you know, I strive to say, hey, one day I want to be there. So when I had the opportunity to go here, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. It's cool, it's close to home, so my family, I get to see them pretty much every weekend. So it's exciting and I have a lot of friends from back home that go here, so it's been a cool opportunity, a cool experience for me to be able to play here. It's just definitely a really good feeling. It's pretty cool for me and my family for me to be able to share that with my family. You know, it's something that, you know, they were really proud of when I had the opportunity to come here, and something that they were really proud of for me to be able to play a little bit more and to be able to get to see me on the ice. I know that means a lot to them, and you know, I owe them a lot for everything that they've done for me growing up as a kid, all the sacrifices that they've made. You know, they're the main reason of why I'm here today where I'm at, and you know, I owe it all to them. So for me to be able to be here, living out one of my dreams, you know, I know it's really cool to be able to share that with them. Coach Cole, you know, he's really intense, but I think that all the coaches, especially him though, are very detail-oriented, which is, you know, I think which is huge, been huge for us. It's something that I really like, and I like to be detail-oriented too, so I think that's why things have been going pretty well so far. You know, he demands a lot out of us, which I think a coach should. And so I think he's been getting a lot out of us, and we just want to keep getting better day in and day out.
Few positions across sport match the intense psychological and physical pressure of a hockey goalie. Flinch the wrong way and your opponent is celebrating. For sophomore goaltender John Lethemon, the key to playing the most difficult position on the ice is finding a comfort zone.
Having routines, creates consistency in your life, and I think that's a good thing to have on the ice and off the ice. So I do have some routines that I do day in and day out. When I walk into the rink, I have my headphones on, listen to some music, and ready to go. I go, change in my workout clothes, and usually I'll see Ace, tape up my stick. And then usually probably about 10 minutes before we have our team meeting, I do a lot of ball work, hand-eye coordination stuff to get my eyes and my hands going. I have a little ball routine that I do before every game. And then, I'll stretch out, and I'll do the same stretches and warm-up routine before every game. I think it's something that kind of developed over the last couple of years, that I've tweaked different things that I like, different things that I don't like, to get it to something that I like to do consistently now. So I think over the last couple of years I've been tweaking my routine, and now it's kind of somewhere where at a point where I really like it, and it's kind of been working for me so far. I want to keep things going.
It's just an odd spot. Again, you're back, everything they do is different from everything everybody else does. They're in the game for the whole 60 or 65 minutes. They're not talking to anyone. They don't have partners on D. They don't have line mates up front. They go out early before practice and do different stuff. So you're really off on an island. And again, I think it comes back to the mentality of it. You have to have that right mindset and to be able to hold yourself in games when you're not getting a lot of shots, and then keep yourself prepared when there are a lot of shots. So there's a lot of variables, and again, you're on your own back there, and that's they always talk about the goalie union. It's a little bit like the coaches union. No one feels sorry for them when things go wrong, and usually the other goalies on other teams have a little bit of empathy for you. I think those are some real important things, and you have to have that certain demeanor to be able to play that position well.
Well, I think you have to have thick skin because, you're in the spotlight. You got to be used to that. Things may not always go your way, but you got to be able to forget about it and move on. You got to be able to take a lot of heat. There's a high risk, high reward type of position, so you got to be prepared to be able to handle all that. You just got to have that attitude to take everything one shot at a time throughout the game. You don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low. If you make a big save, that's great, but you got to, move on and get ready for the next shot. And, if you let in a bad goal or a goal, let in a couple goals, you just got to keep moving on and get ready for that next shot, because that's what matters at that time.
John's done a great job, and I think being a freshman goaltender in the Division I level is hard, and he had to come in and kind of trial by fire. So I don't think we got a real good look at what John was last year, but I think we got a good look at what his mentality was, and he kept working. And when I got here in the spring, I thought he did a real good job. He had a real good summer, and he and Ed came in and battled it out, and he's been able to have some good games and win some games for us, and has kind of grabbed the ball.
The Spartans get the split, and the second shutout of the season for John Lethemon.
For our team, what he does is he's been really calm back there, and every game hasn't been perfect. None of us have those games, but he's usually been really good. But even when he's faltered a little bit, his confidence is good, and he's come back and played real well the next game. So I think the guys, they have confidence in him, and that allows them to play a little bit better.
Shot save made by Lethemon. Another shot.
The feeling that you get when you win that game, you're a big part of it as a goalie. Being on the ice for the full 60 minutes, being able to bail your team out, make some big saves to get the team going. That's a big part of it. It gives yourself a good feeling, lots of confidence. So that's a big part of why I like to be a goalie.
I just think that his athleticism, oddly enough, at his age, I think from what I saw in the spring to over the summer workouts till now has gotten better. I think Joe and Muzz have done a really good job in terms of him working his edges and his balance. He just seems to be in control a lot more than I saw early on and through the fall, and he just seems to be tighter. His routes are better. His crease work is good. His hand positions, he's managed over the first half of the season to continually get better, and that's a credit to him and the coaches and how hard they've worked at it.
Well, community service is very important to obviously the whole community, but I just think it's pretty important for us to get out there and interact with the kids at school. and just the community in general.
I think it's really important for the hockey team to do community service because, fans, they come to the games and they see us, but, they don't get to see us in person a lot, and I think when we show up, it's pretty cool for them. This year we've already gone to some of the schools, elementary schools, middle schools, and played street hockey with some of the kids, and it's pretty cool seeing them, and they have a lot of fun with it.
I've been on the other side of it where in my hometown we had a junior team that would come in and play street hockey with us and do autographs and all that kind of thing. And so I've been on the other side of it, and you kind of look up to these guys like, they're the coolest things ever. They're kind of what you wanna end up being at some point in your life.
Yeah, I play baseball.
Baseball, nice.
Being able to make their day, I think that's like the biggest thing. Is we're going in there, just taking a little bit of time out of our day can be really huge for them, and it makes us happy too. It gives a smile on our face, it gets a smile on their face, and it works both ways.
I'm Leonardo. How often?
I'm Michelangelo.
Really? I'm not a bad guy, I'm a good guy.
It's good to be, involved in the community. I think it's good to give back. I think that our student athletes, especially now, realize, how much they've been given here and what a tremendous opportunity it is. And I think it's real good to remind them and have them go out that, everybody doesn't have it this nice and doesn't have that opportunity, and that if you can kind of go out and give something back, it's a tremendous, way to go through life. And regardless, if you have faith or you don't, that's something that we should be trying to instill in young men, and it's a character and a culture thing that I'm glad as a part of it here at Michigan State. And I wasn't surprised coming back. And you keep track of some of the things, and Drew Miller did some good work with the hospitals and thing he got started, and then the toys here on campus. I think some of the guys on the team got going a few years ago. So coming back, it makes me pretty proud that our guys do that stuff, and that people around campus are so involved, and as big a part as we are around East Lansing. I think it's just better for them moving on, helps them be better people and better citizens.
Hockey is such a close community. Growing up, I had the privilege with multiple people that gave back, came back, gave me an opportunity, helped me along. I wouldn't be here without them. And so I think once you grow, and as you grow up, and you're put into the position that your peers are in, you want to give back because people gave back to you.
All the guys remember when they were in school too, and things like that. People would come, important people in the community would come, hang out with them, and it's pretty fun. Yeah, you get to be a kid again.
I don't know if it goes back to AMO, but it sure was here with Coach Mason, and he constantly reminded us of things that we should be doing. We should be going out of our way, and he had a unique way of saying it sometimes. He called us spoiled a few times, but just letting us know that how important it was to give back. So that doesn't surprise me, and the people that have been here since, and the players have just kind of grabbed on, and that's something that moves on. And I know a couple of guys this year. Brendan Sanford's done a real good job, and Anthony Scarcella and Tommy Apap has kind of jumped in. So it's kind of passed on year to year, and that's the culture. That's what a culture is. It's not what a coach tells you to do. It's not what the athletic director or the president tells you what to do. It's what's passed on from the players and the students that are here, and that's a pretty special thing, and it's one thing I really like about Michigan State.
I think it's more of a pride too, of you're so passionate about your school, of being able to share the passion, go out into the community and do that. So I don't think it's really something that's passed down. I think it's more something that guys are excited to do.
Can you give a high five? Give a high five? There you go. Oh.
We have a lot of guys on our team and a lot of people in the program that want to give back and want to contribute to the community, and we want to have people out there saying, hey, Michigan State hockey is a bunch of good guys, and that are model citizens and model student athletes.
High five! High five! Oh, there you go. High five, Bella. Oh, that was even harder.
Sure, we're ready right from the drop, and we'll be on the right side of it at the end here. All right, here we go, boys.
Welcome to Little Caesars Arena in downtown Detroit, Michigan for coverage of the 53rd annual Great Lakes Invitational Tournament. Osborne, nice pass over the far side. Big shot and a diving save made. Come back over to the near side. Shot and a goal for Michigan State. Time of the goal, 19:16 for Zach Osborne. That is his first of the season.
These guys are dangerous. Konorenko with a shot. Scores! Konorenko with a shot, and he beat Robbie Maydoun, and Robbie's not happy with that one. It's a 3-2 game.
Michigan Tech skates off with a 5-2 win over the Spartans of Michigan State.
The GLI was tough this year. We didn't get the results we wanted, but you know, it's a good wake-up call, I think, coming in the second half of the season.
Coach said, you know, we did about 90% of the things right. It's that 10%, and 10% in college hockey is huge. So we're right there. We just got to finish.
Shot on goal, score! 26 seconds into the game, Taro Hirose gives the Spartans a 1-0 lead.
We did some things well, and I think the one thing that we're trying to impress upon our guys is that don't, you know, it's easy to criticize and say, okay, we have to, we can't give up this goal, or we have to shoot more here on the power play, and go through those things. But I think it's really important with a group, especially of the age and the learning curve that we're on, that our guys realize that we did some things really well, that there was some carryover from the first half of the season over break. They didn't forget everything.
Shot, goal for Michigan State. Konorenko with a pinpoint shot.
Some things that we could take away is just being able to play the full game. You know, we came out, we got a lead on both teams, but then second, third period, we kind of fell apart a little bit. I mean, we played, like Coach said, he said we played about 90% right, but that 10% kind of is where we lost our game, and we can't have that.
And what we tried to show, and we did some video this morning, talked about, you know, that we have to do some things harder, and sometimes, you know, just being in the right place isn't good enough. You have to be doing it fast. And we talked about, you know, even if you're headed in the right direction, you'll get run over if you're not moving. So, you know, we kind of wanted to emphasize a lot of the good things, continue to build, understand it's a process, and, you know, you only lose if you lose the lesson. And, you know, make sure we get something out of that. The guys were outstanding today in practice, and, you know, hopefully we, again, can continue to build throughout the rest of the season.
Big Ten is, yeah, I mean, it's a power conference for sure. It's a privilege to be able to play in the Big Ten. Yeah, it's not easy to win. I mean, Notre Dame, you just look at some of the other schools, Ohio State, Minnesota, those three teams are all in the top 10 in the country. Wisconsin and Penn State are not far off, you know. But I think what's important is every day we're playing in top competition, which makes us better as players.
As us and where we are in our season, and where we're at as a team, it's going to be tough for us. But I think it's going to light a fire underneath us, and you know, really motivate us.
Good teams, you just never have the opportunity to take your foot off the gas pedal, and in this league, you either learn that or things aren't going to go very well. So I think it really prepares you in that sense, is that you just have to be on. You can't take a period off, you can't take a shift off, and certainly as you move through, and then when we get to the point where we're getting back in the NCAAs, you know, that's how those weekends have to be. But I think it prepares you mentally and physically just to be ready from the drop of the puck, and you know, you have to play hard between the whistles, and that's great players have that, and I think it's something that young men have to learn, that there are no easy parts of the game, and the higher you move up in the food chain of hockey, you know, as you go through college and into the pro level, it gets harder and harder.
And welcome once again to Mud Ice Arena on the campus of Michigan State University as we get ready for Spartan hockey, Michigan State versus Ohio State for the second straight evening.
Big Ten's tough.
You bet.
Ohio State, I think now they are, I believe they're 9-1-1 on the road. That's the second best in the nation. You know who's number one undefeated on the road? Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
That tells you a little something about Big Ten hockey this year.
Guys back in. McCormick from behind the play with a shot, save made by Minnie. separated from the puck into the corner, found it back out. Lewandowski with a shot, the goal for Michigan State. Mitch Lewandowski got the bouncing puck from Patrick Kordarenko and popped it past Romeo. Lazinski into the slot, tipped away, and off of the rebound it goes in. We're tied at 1-1. Shot from the blue line into the slot, redirected past Ed Minnie, and just like that, Ohio State's on top. Over the blue line, now rink wide to Lambden near side with a shot, and a sliding save made by Romeo. Spartans fall to Ohio State for the second consecutive evening. The final score, Buckeyes 5, Michigan State 3.
Michigan State kept this thing a game really all night long.
Just Ohio State proved to be a little bit too much there in the third period as they pulled away.
Clapper.
Exactly.
Lights all go off.
You were doing really good.
Yeah, I know.
Good question.
I lost train of thought. Sorry.
Elliot! Yeah, that one.